So hey anime fans. The series name is What If Naruto Was in Percy Jackson. This is second part of the series. So let's start the series. Naruto rushes to his next class and to meet up with his friends. The blonde has been at Yansei Academy for 2 months now since spring break ended. He can say he hates this place and wishes to burn it to the ground and just watch it. The students are a bunch of rich kids that just want mommy and daddy to pay for everything. They will have a hard time in the world when their parents won't pay for everything when they get older. During his time here he kind of got pissed at Artemis for ditching him. She wanted to take him away from Konoha, but drops him off in New York City and say go to school till the summer starts up. That was it. His right eye twitches as he plans to get revenge for doing this to him. That is a promise of a lifetime. While Artemis wanted to spend time with her son, she knew couldn't stay forever long. She was pushing her time when he took him from Konoha, as it were. The goddess of the moon explained everything that she could before leaving to returning to the hunt. This kind of hurt Naruto as he wanted to spend more time with her and learn more about his mother. But the blonde knows that life isn't fair and knows that he'll get another chance when the time comes. During the first few weeks at Yansei Academy the blonde gotten into a few fights because he was the new kid, which ended badly for those that started it, other fights where other kids were being bullied. The school somehow gotten a hold of Artemis and told her that her son gotten into a few fights with them saying he was the one that started said fight. She wasn't too happy to learn that Naruto was fighting at school. Long story short, the blonde is trying to do everything in his power to not get into fights while he is still going to Yansei. But he makes two promises about that really. Rushing and catching to his friends. What did Mr. Brunner wanted to talk to you about, Naruto? Percy asked. Percy Jackson was one of the first people that the blonde talked to when he first arrived at Yansei. Percy was strange as he looked at everything strangely as his ADHD acted up a lot. There was nothing wrong about that as it made him unique, strange, but unique. He wanted to ask me what I would have done if I was Leonidas at the Battle of Thermopylae. Naruto answered back to his friend. What did you say? That I would have done the same thing as Leonidas even if I didn't like it. I would have liked to send all of my men back to their families and loved ones, but you can't have what you want. I don't know if I would have been able to do that, confessed Percy, leading soldiers into battle that they all know they aren't coming back. I hope I never be placed in a position like that one day. I don't think Percy would be very good at being a leader, Grover chimed in. Grover Underwood is another friend of Naruto that he met shortly after joining Yansei. Grover was being picked on because he uses crutches to get around because his legs are strong enough to properly use. Which Naruto ended because the blonde doesn't like bullies, though when it comes to lunch the boy can somehow clear the cafeteria like it was nothing. That's mean, Grover. I thought you would be on my side. Cried out Percy. I have to agree with Grover on this. I think I would turncoat if that were to happen. Naruto quickly joins in on making fun of Percy. This is how the three friends would spend their days together as friends should. None of them knew how everything was going to change, for the better or for the worst. But none of that matter right now as they head for their next class with it being math. Metropolitan Museum of Art. The bus arrives at the Metropolitan Museum of Art for the field trip that Yansei Academy had planned for this class, though the school wished to say that they were the ones that thought it up. But in fact it was Mr. Brunner that thought it up and brought it up to the principal, saying that this could give the students a great chance for them to learn while also seeing what they are learning about. Another teacher came with them since the school thought one teacher couldn't control a whole class during a field trip. The math teacher Mrs. Dodds came along. She joined Yansei Academy around the same time Mr. Brunner joined, and just like him the older math teacher went and left and she was hired as a replacement like the very next day. Alright class, says Mr. Brunner grabbing all of their attention, I want all of you to look at the statues and other artworks. Pick which artwork you wish to report on. Meet back up in the front by 11 for the main tour that I have planned out for us. So what should we do? Percy asked his two friends. I don't know. Grover stated while scratching the side of his head, why don't we all split up and pick something for our reports? That sounds like a good idea, the blonde liking that idea since it'll give him some time to look around. Why don't we meet up in front of the Athena statue before the whole class returns? That sounds like a plan. His green-eyed friend agreed with. Naruto walks around the museum looking at the different artworks and statues that they have on display. The blonde came to a stop to look at the three virgins. Athena the goddess of wisdom being on the right, Hestia the goddess of the hearth being in the middle, and Artemis the goddess of the moon being on the left. Ah, Mr. Uzumaki, I see you found the 3 virgins, Mr. Brunner says while wheeling up next to the blonde. How did you do that? I didn't sense him at all, screams the blonde inside his head. I never did understand why they all took an oath to remain virgins, Mr. Brunner, while I can understand why Hestia took the oath since all of Olympus was going to go to war for her hand in marriage. That is understandable, Mr. Uzumaki, just like you said, Hestia took the oath to protect Olympus and to make sure that war didn't break out. Athena took the oath because how she was born. Do you remember how she was born from the History Channel? Of course. Naruto shouldn't be proud of that. Zeus ate Métis because it was said that while they knew she would give birth to a girl, she was also to give birth to a boy that would one day take over Zeus' position. Days later Zeus had a headache and he had his son. Hephaestus hit him on the head with the very same hammer that Métis used to make Athena's helmet and robe, mind you. And Athena came out fully matured wearing clothing and armor. She took up her mother's position. Very good, Mr. Uzumaki. You may not read the material, but by watching the History Channel you learned what you needed. Mr. Brunner really didn't mind as long he learns what he's supposed to. And finally Artemis took her oath because she helped her mother, Leto, give to her brother Apollo. She saw how long it took her to give birth, so she too took the oath. Mr. Brunner, I have a question. What is it? Since it was rare for young Naruto to ask questions in class, but when he did they were different and questioned everything that the Greek gods did. Why did Zeus ate Métis? Naruto stops Mr. Brunner from answering. I know why he did it, but I want to know why he followed his father. I mean, you did that very same thing that Cronus did to his children. Ah, I see now. I believe fear will make anyone do something stupid once in a while. I don't know, not buying what his teacher just said. Sounds like he's just as power-hungry his father was before him. I mean, look at Athena. Waving over to said goddess, she took up her position for her past mother and didn't try to fight her father and become the next queen to rule over Olympus. Any father should have faith in his children. If Zeus' son was supposed to take over, then he should have helped guide him and be even a better ruler when his time came, but now there is no proper heir for the Cid of Olympus when Zeus dies. Mr. Brunner frowns at how Naruto once again took a different approach to things. You Mr. Uzumaki look at things from not just outside the box, but upside down the box. If you are the son of Zeus, then I would say you would be the closest to being the heir to Olympus if Zeus were to ever fade, thought the old trainer of heroes. There is one thing that's been bothering me though. Thing catches Mr. Brunner's attention. If Athena came out of Zeus' mind, then why didn't her brother? And that is true, why didn't Athena's brother make an appearance as well? It makes one wonder if this son of Zeus is out there somewhere plotting to take his revenge and destroy Olympus, taking his rightful place as the true ruler of Olympus and bring in a new age. A shiver goes down Chiron's spine at the thought that there is a being out there waiting and watching for the perfect chance to strike. He banished such thoughts, for it wouldn't be any good to think them. Once again, Mr. Uzumaki, you think outside of the box. That mind of yours is a dangerous thing. What can I say? Grinning, I don't like to repeat doing the same thing over and over again. Change doesn't come if you are stuck in the past, just like with how Hera did to her son Hephaestus. You mean when she tossed him off the cliff when he was born? Most people believe that Zeus did it. Mr. Brunner did bring up a good point. That may be the case, but I want to know which one is true. I would say Hera tossed her baby because a father wouldn't do that to a son. Truly Mr. Uzumaki, you have a very dangerous mind, chuckles the teacher. Percy walks through the many statues looking at them. While he was doing this, the ancient Greek letters move around and become readable. He blinks a few times before walking over to the Perseus that is holding the head of Medusa. Perseus. Percy read the name out loud. Ah, Mr. Jackson, it's good to see you. Greeted Mr. Brunner, who came over after his talk to Naruto. I see that you found the Perseus with the head of Medusa. It looked cool. Percy didn't buy it himself. Perseus was the greatest Greek hero before Heracles came. He beheaded the Gorgon Medusa for Polydectes and saved Andromeda from the sea monster Cetus. Didn't he also ride her Pegasus? Asked Percy, since a flying horse would have been cool to ride her on. Chuckling at the thought of his old friend, yes, Pegasus let him ride her the mighty steed. Do you remember how he died? No. Sighing as one student used the History Channel to learning while the other didn't even bother to learn what he's supposed to learn. Perseus became the king of Mycenae, where he had a long and prosperous reign. though he went to war with Argos and was slain by Megapenthes. So no happy ending from him? The dark-haired boy asked meekly. I'm afraid not, as most Greek heroes die in battle. I hope you take this with you, as happy endings are hard to come by, but are worth it in the end. Percy watches Mr. Brunner leaves while thinking over what he said about the Greek hero he was named after. He wonders if he can have a happy ending down the road. 11 rolled around with the class gathering back in the front of the museum. Mr. Brunner leads them throughout the museum that is housing main Greek statues and other Greek artwork, showing the famous statues of Greek heroes and gods and goddesses along with a story with each of them, as though the teacher was when it happened. They came across one piece of artwork with Cronus being cut up by his sons Zeus, Hades, and Poseidon. Now class, tell me, why did Cronus swallow his children? He asked his class with no one answering. Mr. Jackson. Everyone turned their head to watch as Percy just stands there not really knowing the answer. He was afraid. Afraid of what? Wanting to see if the boy knows. He was afraid of his children. But why? Seeing that Percy doesn't know, he turns to Naruto. Why don't we have our History Channel watcher? Because he was told that one of his children would overthrow him and take all the power he had, so he swallowed his children to prevent that. Hera, who had enough of seeing her children of being swallowed, used a stone as replacement for her youngest son, Zeus, to fool Cronus so that her son would have a chance at life. Very good, Mr. Uzumaki. Credit to you, at least someone is learning something, though I wish it was in class, but none the least he is learning something. Mr. Jackson, can you tell me what Cronus was? A god? Mr. Brunner gives Percy a look. I mean a titan. A titan. He was a titan. Credit to you, Mr. Jackson, but please try to learn this. Mr. Brunner, why do we have to learn this? Nancy Bobofit asked. I don't see why we have to learn this. Ah, that is a good question. Can anyone tell me why you should be learning this? He looks at all of his students, seeing as no one wants to answer. Greek myths still play a big part to this day. Many people who like myths always make some reference. There are still plenty of ruins that are still being uncovered, many old artworks that need to be restored, and it never hurts to learn from the past, that it may help you down the road. Naruto tilted his head to the side as though Mr. Brunner was saying that last part as if it'll help in more ways than one. Even since Mr. Brunner came to the school, the blonde has been watching as if he casted a genjutsu on the whole school. The old Latin teach just up and move without saying a word, and a new hole takes his place the very next day. Even Naruto, who sucks at genjutsu, saw through it. The blonde even noticed that Percy noticed it as well, but didn't say a thing about it. What are you hiding, Mr. Brunner? The blonde thought to himself. The tour didn't last much longer, with lunch taking place outside in front of the water fountain. Grover, Percy, and Naruto all ate together and talked about why they are going to do their reports on. Grover said he was going to do a report on Pan, the god of the wilds. Percy said he was going to do a report on Heracles, since the dark-haired boy said that the Greek hero is his favorite, and Naruto said that he was going to do a report on Hephaestus. Grover asked him why, and Naruto replied back by saying that he was thrown out of Olympus because of the way he looked, but came back and tricked his mother and became a god to free his mother. Naruto. Nancy walked over to them. Why are you hanging out with these losers? Everyone in class knew that Nancy had a crush on the blonde, all save the said blonde. They're my friends, why shouldn't I be hanging out with them? Clearly not getting why she was asking. Well, she started to play with her ponytail. You could hang out with me? Sorry Nancy, but I want to hang out with my friends. I'm sure you would want to hang out with your friends too. Right. She runs off back to her friends. That was strange. Naruto looks over to his two buddies. What brought that about? No one is that dense, mutters Grover. I'm just happy that he doesn't see it, mutters Percy. She would likely be hanging out with us, and I don't really like Bobofit. I know what you mean. Just the other day she glued my crutches to the floor. So that's why you were late to class? Percy asked, since Grover was never late for his class. I thought you had to go to the bathroom. I lied to the teacher because I didn't want people to know. Why did you tell me or Naruto? Percy really wanted to know why his best friend didn't tell him. We would have helped you. I didn't want to bother you too. Naruto is probably going to be expelled if he gets into one more fight. I'm not coming back next year. This caused the both of them to jump and screamed like little girls. The school is letting me stay till the school year ends, then I'm out. Don't do that. Grover shouted at the blonde. How do you keep doing that? I have no idea what you mean. Giving them both a creepy smile, but Grover, why didn't you tell us like Percy said? We would have helped you. Yeah, friends help friends, I can always prank her. Naruto gives both boys a creepy smile. Yes, the greatest prank that will scar her for life. I sometimes worry about Naruto, whispers Percy. I know what you, Grover whispers back, it's only a matter of time before he kills someone. While this was going on, Nacy throws bits of her sandwich at Grover, getting the pieces stuck in his hair. Percy frowns at this and looks over to see Mr. Brunner reading a book and Mrs. Dodds not even paying attention to no one, growling at this since no one is doing a thing. What anyone didn't see was a bit of water come out of the fountain and pulls the girl into the water. Everyone laughs at Nancy when she fell in. Mrs. Dodds. Percy pushed me into the fountain, cried out the girl. Mrs. Dodds walked over and grabs Percy by the arm. Come with me, Mr. Jackson, I'm going to have a talk with you. Naruto watches as Mrs. Dodds drags Percy away. All the while Percy was saying that he didn't push Nancy into the fountain. Something didn't seem right. Naruto was standing next to Percy when Nancy fell into the fountain. He couldn't have pushed her into the fountain since she was too far away, but somehow she thought the boy pushed her in. Then the math teacher came over and took the boy away when she could have done something right then and there. Something isn't right, and I aim to find out why, thought the blonde. The first thing that Naruto noticed was that the museum was empty. The only time the museum would be empty is at night. Walking slowly and making sure that nothing comes up behind him since the hairs on the back of his neck are standing up, Naruto stops as he felt something staring at him. Growling can echoes through the empty hallways with the sound of heavy footsteps as if something big and heavy is coming towards him. The blonde didn't have to wait for long as a large dog came out of the shadows. The thing is big as an SUV with glowing red eyes, for dark as a moonless night, and drool the smells as if it's been eating something foul. Shit! Cursed Naruto since he doesn't have any weapons on him. Spamming clones won't be a good idea since someone could come across our fight. And he can't use the Rasengan since it'll cause unwanted damage. What can I do? Naruto. Said boy turns his head to see Mr. Brunner coming to a stop and throws a belt at the blonde. Naruto catches the belt and looks at the worn leather. Put it on. With that Brunner wheels off. Not one to look a gifted horse in the mouth. The blonde puts the belt on. As soon Naruto put the belt on, he felt the weight and looks down to see the belt somehow gained holsters with several different types of knives. I don't know how I got these knives, but I'll take it. Naruto says with a bloodthirsty grin. Naruto takes out one of the knives to see that the blade is huge as it curves slightly at the tip. Leaping towards the large creature, Naruto takes a swings at it. The creature leaps back, dodging the knife swing and only snap at the blonde's neck. Naruto leans back and thrusts his knife into the creature's lower jaw. Crying out in pain, the large dog headbutts Naruto and throws him to the side. Rolling onto his stomach, Naruto slowly rises to his feet to take out two move knives. The knife in his left hand is smaller, with the blade only being 6 inches long, and the knife in Naruto's right hand is a butcher's knife. Naruto throws the butcher's knife at the large dog with his aim true, with the knife going into the creature's head, running over and dropping to his knees, cutting the large dog's legs, causing it to fall. Quickly rising in turn to shove the knife into the back of the large dog's head. There was a small sound before the large dog went still. Breathing heavy for the first time since Naruto had fought something like this left him out of breath. I need to start back up my training. I should have ended this fight a long time ago. But Naruto didn't get to rest as the large dog turns into gold dust, leaving behind the knives that were still in it as well a few fangs. Taking the knives he'd used along the fangs and rushes off to find Percy with the thought there might as well be more of those large dogs inside the museum. Percy was not having a good day at all. The first thing was his alarm didn't go off, which made him late for his first class. He ripped his pants as they got caught on closing door. He almost missed the bus that was heading to the museum if Naruto and Grover didn't see him. Then he learned that Nancy has been going out of her way to pick on Grover when he or Naruto wasn't there. And then Nancy somehow fell into the water fountain out in front and blamed it on the dark-haired boy with Mrs. Dodds dragging him away. He thought he was just going to get an earful by the math teacher. But no. It was much worse. Mrs. Dodds started talking about how long she has waited and waited. His scent was growing stronger and stronger by the day. Then she asked, where is the bolt, and why did he take it? Of course Percy didn't know what she was talking about since he didn't steal anything. She didn't take too kindly to that, and just like a magic shows Mrs. Dodds transform into a strange creature with leathery wings. Mrs. Dodds takes flight. Where is the bolt, Percy Jackson? She demands to know. I don't know what you are talking about. The yells back, which she didn't like, and swoops down and takes a swing at the boy with her claws. Rolling out of the way by the skin of his teeth, Percy looks around to use anything to defend himself. Percy! Said boy looks over to see Mr. Brunner coming to a stop and throws a pen. Who catches it? Use it. Percy looks at the pen and hates his life, as if a pen can do anything. Pull the cap off. Doing what Mr. Brunner said, Percy pulls the cap off and the pen transforms into a sword. He wasn't expecting for the pen to turn into a sword. The weight felt right in his hands for some reason. Mrs. Dodds swoops down once again, and this time around Percy blocks the claw coming down to rip his face off. Mrs. Dodds didn't like that a godling blocked her claw strike. She hates godlings, as they think they are better than them just because they come from gods. Mrs. Dodds takes another swipe at Percy, but this time Percy swings his sword just at the right time, cutting a nasty gash into Mrs. Dodds' stomach. Crying out in pain, the math teacher flies up bleeding out golden blood. Know this, Percy Jackson. The bolt will be found and I shall feast of your flesh. And with that Mrs. Dodds flies through the window, leaving the stunned student behind. Rolling up to Percy, well, Mr. Jackson, I think I'll have my lucky pen back, taking the sword which turned back into a pen, and Mr. Uzumaki, I'll be taking back my old belt back. Who just came running into the room? Mr. Brunner takes the belt from Naruto before leaving both boys behind. The Latin teacher did say that they would be leaving in a few minutes, so they should get going. What just happened? Asked Percy. I don't know, replied the blonde, but I what know what the hell just happened. Mrs. Dodds was a monster that attacked me. You? Some large dog attacked me. Mr. Brunner gave me a belt that had different type of knives on it that I used to kill the dog. You? Mr. Brunner gave me a pen that transformed into a sword that I used to fend off Mrs. Dodds before she ran away. Didn't I eat something bad? Percy asked, since he did eat some bad tacos the other day. I don't think so. Naruto himself was unsure on what is happening. Yancy Academy. A few weeks passed since the field trip to the Metropolitan Museum of Art, and since then there has been a new math teacher because Mrs. Dodds never existed. Percy kept on saying that there was a math teacher by the name of Mrs. Dodds, but no one would believe him. It was strange, as Naruto was the only one that knew who Mrs. Dodds was. But was strange was when Naruto tried to bring this up with Brunner, who gave him that belt and the pen to Percy, didn't say a thing and acted like nothing happened. This is giving me a headache, groaning and rubs the side of his head. It's like a genjutsu has been casted on the whole school, as though Mrs. Dodds never came here. What is going on? Is this something related to deadbeat mom? The bell rings. All right, class. I want you to study for the upcoming test because that will make most of your grade. Says Mr. Brunner to the whole class. A moment of your time, Mr. Jackson. Percy stays behind. What is it, Mr. Brunner? It is about your grades, started the Latin teacher. As you know, your grades aren't the best. I know that. Percy doesn't like that his grades aren't good, but there is really nothing he can do anything about that. I try me hardest, Mr. Brunner. I know that, but I think it would be better if you don't come back to Yancy next year. The boy didn't like that. I mean, there are other things you can do. Why don't you spend the summer and think about what you want to do? I'll think about it, Mr. Brunner. Percy didn't wait for Mr. Brunner, and he rushes out of the classroom. Percy really did try to make good grades, but he just couldn't understand what some of the words spelled out or said. It was strange because when he was at the Metropolitan Museum of Art he could make out what the ancient Greek words spelled out, read them just fine. Percy already knows that he wasn't going to come back since his grades were terrible. He just didn't want to bother his mom since she worked so hard to put him through school. Percy throws his book across the room. I just don't understand this stuff. What are you having difficulty with? Grover asked since he was there studying. I'm having a difficult time with Chiron and Sharon. One is the trainer of heroes and the other is the ferryman to the underworld, says Naruto as he is drawing one a piece of paper. One has an I and the other has an O. You just have to remember which one though. That's very helpful, Naruto. It's just one letter, Percy. I mean, how hard is it to remember one letter that makes a difference? Grover asks since he has the best grade for Latin. It's not asking what's the difference between the nymphs and what their names are. Grover closed his book and ends for the door. I have to go the bathroom, be back in a bit. After waiting for a few minutes, Percy looks over to Naruto. Hey, Naruto. Said boy looks over. Let's go and see if Mr. Brunner is still in the classroom and see if he can help us. Sure, why not? Both of them leave and walk down the hallway. The hallways look and feel different from the time during the day. It feels as if something is there watching them. They reach their classroom when they hear Grover and Mr. Brunner talking from inside the classroom. The summer solstice is coming up and the bolt hasn't been found. They can hear Grover's voice from the other side of the door. I know that, Grover, this time it was Mr. Brunner's voice. It's only a matter of time now. What about Percy and Naruto? They will learn when the time comes. But they remember Mrs. Dodds. They can hear that Grover is having a hard time keeping his voice. Naruto is already looking for signs as if he's tracking for prey. I notice, only time will tell and I'm afraid that time will be here soon. Naruto put his hand on Percy's shoulder, which he jumped and drops his book that he was carrying. They didn't stay and quickly run back to their room. What was that? Mr. Brunner opens the door to see no one there but a book. Grover head back and we'll talk more about this later. Grover head back to his room to find both Naruto and Percy studying. Nothing happens for the rest of the night, but both boys looked at each other and nod. The Latin test came and went. Naruto had some difficulty as Mr. Brunner decided to make some last-minute changes that they didn't cover so that the blonde wouldn't have an easy time. Percy didn't do so well as he couldn't make out half of the words half of the time before the bell rang. Oh! Groans out Percy, I know I didn't pass. Lucky you. Naruto makes a face. Mr. Brunner had stuff in the test that we didn't cover so I didn't know it. Oh, well. It isn't like I'm coming back next year. Naruto, I don't think you should be happy about that, Grover says. What would your mom say? She knew how I am with school. No she didn't. I say suck it. Naruto, you're too happy for your own good sometimes. Percy agrees with Grover that Naruto shouldn't be happy about coming back for the next school year. But then again Percy isn't coming back for the next school year. Hey, what are you guys going to do during the summer break? I'm working at a camp that I've been going to for years now, Grover quickly says. Why don't you guys try and come this summer? Can't. Naruto brings up his hands and put them behind his head. Deadbeat mom wants me to go to some camp upstate. How many camps are upstate? Too many. Their cripple friend says since he truly doesn't know. What about you, Percy? I don't know. Mom wants to head to the cabin that we go to every year. Percy stops in front of the many buses that are out in front of the school. Well, this is it for me. The same for me, said Grover since he is riding the same bus with Percy. I hope to see you guys after the summer ends. One can only hope since I'll be going to a different school next year. See ya around Percy, Grover. Naruto gets on his bus while waving to his two friends with them doing the same thing. Naruto arrived back at his apartment, when the blonde stepped through the front door and throws his bag across the room, smiling at the thought of returning to that hellhole. Naruto knows he shouldn't be thinking about that, but he was never one for school, so. Naruto starts out to say, I am to upstate where I'll find Camp Half-Blood where I'll learn more able Greek history. He looks around, what do I need to take while I am there? The blonde looks around before he starts to take out clothes and a bag to put them inside said bag. He stops to look at the glowing blue sack. When Naruto killed that ghoul, he doesn't know why but for some strange reason he cut that sack out. It was like something possessed him. Whenever Naruto sees his mother again he'll ask her what that was all about. Shrugging his shoulders as he couldn't do a thing right now, Naruto continues to pack his bag. The next day Naruto sets out to find this camp he was told about. Last night there was a storm that came through. It was strange because the Weather Channel said it was just a cloudy night with no showers. But it rained like the world was going to end. The blonde leaves his apartment building and heads for Grand Central Station. While on the train it makes a stop at Boston, Massachusetts. Which at the blonde thinking with him getting off the train, it isn't like he has a deadline or anything. It's not like there would be some kind of quest that he could have gone on and saved the world. Nope. Nothing of that sort. Time to get loose of the road of life. Naruto walks around Boston, looks at the sights. He can tell the differences between New York City and Boston. The buildings in Boston look like they are older and made sure are taken care of so they last longer. It must because Boston is one of the oldest city in America and the important history that follows it. He walks around when he hears the familiar sound of fighting. The blonde rushes off to find where the fighting is taking place. He comes across a tall, burly young woman with pale blue eyes, and snow-blonde hair braided down her shoulders. She is wielding a massive hammer and is swinging it around like it is nothing, but that wasn't what really drew in Naruto's attention. It was what she was fighting. It was none other than a ghoul. This ghoul had its tentacle out and was using it like a sword. Naruto takes a step forward, but stops. The last time he fought one of these ghouls, none of his kunai could cut through its skin. It took him using chakra to cut through the ghoul's skin, and even that his kunai was ruin. But none of that matters at the moment as the ghoul hits the young woman hard enough in which her hammer flies out of her hands. Naruto leaped forward and takes the ghoul's tentacle to his stomach. Fuck! Shouted out Naruto as this pain really wasn't nothing like when Sasuke fisted him. That thought didn't sound right in my head. The ghoul wasn't expecting someone to willing throw themselves onto his Kagun, but he wasn't about to look at a gifted horse in the mouth. That was his downfall as the young woman grab hold of her hammer and bashes the ghoul's head in. With the ghoul now dead, the young woman runs over to the bleeding out Naruto. Why did you jump in that attack? She asks with an accent that sounds old. Coughing up blood, not the first time I've been fisted. He groans out in pain with the young woman's cheeks burning red at what Naruto said. I just need to heal and I'll be good as new. Are you mad? Being a smartass, Naruto showed that he was a little. You'll bleed out before you heal. By your actions alone you'll be welcome at Hotel Valhalla. That sounds like it's Norse. Shit, deadbeat mom would be pissed if I were to die, and go to someplace that's not Fields of Elysium. Fields of Elysium? Can you dig through my bag? Inside is a bag of food that deadbeat mom said I should eat if my wounds are a little too bad. I think this calls for it. The young woman does as Naruto asks. She takes his bag and digs through it and finds a Ziploc bag full of what looks like to be brownies. Brownies? How are brownies going to heal that wound? Do you want to see a magic trick? Naruto takes the Ziploc bag and eats one of the brownies. The young woman watches as the hole in Naruto's stomach closes up right before her eyes. Wah, what was that? She asks since the young woman has seen many things over the years that can heal injuries and wounds, but nothing like of which can close a gaping hole. That was just a little pick-me-up. Naruto tries to sit up, but even without the wound there he'll still feel pain from the phantom pains of it. Can you help me up? The young woman lifts up Naruto like he is nothing. Now that the blonde is standing next to the tall woman he can tell just how short he is to her, frowning as once again he is short. My name is Naruto Uzumaki, and as you can tell I'm not normal. What's your name? My name is Gunilla, daughter of Thor, and the captain of the Valkyries. Gunilla greets Naruto like the captain of the Valkyries should. Where are you from? Naruto tries to think of something but can't come up with anything really. Greek? When Gunilla heard Greek she groans out loud. This was something she didn't want to hear because this could cause some problems if it is handled poorly. The last time the Norse and Greeks had anything to do with each other was during World War II. While most of the Norse didn't fight in the war, that doesn't mean the Valkyries sat still. The choosers of the dead visited many of the battlefields to take the fallen soldiers that fought the hardest back to Valhalla. It was during this that several of those that died during those many battles were Greek demigods. It didn't even very pretty. Have you been claimed? The captain of the Valkyries asked. Claimed? What's that? So you haven't been claimed? That's good. If a Valkyrie wanted to take a demigod from a different pantheon then they couldn't be claimed by their godly parent. Do you want to become an Einherjar of Valhalla of the Norse? Einherjar? What's that? Einherjar are great heroes who have died with bravery on earth, soldiers in Odin's eternal army. They train in Valhalla for Ragnarok. When the bravest of them will join Odin against Loki and the Jotnar at the end of the world. Gunilla explains what an Einherjar is and does. Naruto just stands that wide eye and mouth gaping open. He was just asked to die. He doesn't want to die. Naruto wants to have a family one day. He can't have a family if he's dead. I can't do that. I want to live. Naruto yells out at the top of his lungs. What? No. I mean I will mark you as an Einherjar, and when you die I'll come and take you to Valhalla. What? Did you think I was going to kill you with my hammer? As a show of strength Gunilla lifts her hammer up to have it rest on her shoulder. Hearing the Valkyrie say she wouldn't kill him calms the blonde down. There is a lot that Naruto wants to do first before he dies. You need to be careful when you say stuff like that next time when you are asking someone if they want to become an Einherjar. Einherjar. Gunilla looks over Naruto's head to see the dead ghoul hasn't moved since they started talking. Look, I need to get that ghoul Valhalla before more ghouls show up and try to take the body. Looking behind him to see the dead ghoul, you know that is the second one I've ran into. Really? Yeah, it took a bite out of me and it got a hard-on from my flesh. Gunilla cleaned out her ears to make sure she heard Naruto right. After I killed it I cut out a glowing sac. You cut out a kagun. A what? A kagun, the organ that come out of their body. That thing that impaled you. Oh, that? I really don't know much about ghouls, what are they? Naruto asks since this is the perfect chance for him to learn more about ghouls. Gunilla looks around as though something is going to come out and attack them. She knows that ghouls don't work together, but when they do it's a pain to fight them off as they work together and overwhelm their enemies. Look, I know I really should do this, but come with me to Hotel Valhalla and I'll explain more about the ghouls, said Gunilla. Naruto agrees with this because he can sense several more ghouls moving in on their location. The both of them didn't waste any time and carried the body away. If they waited for several more minutes they would have seen a ghoul dressed in black land on the ground. This ghoul is wearing a black rabbit mask. Rabbit looks around to see that a battle was fought here. He inhales the air and takes in the scents. There he smell a Greek and a Norse were here. Strange. What would a Greek and a Norse be doing in the same location? I should report this back at HQ, this might be tied to what happened to Hound a few weeks ago, Rabbit told himself before leaping away. Beacon Street. Gunilla lead Naruto to an 8-story mansion of white and gray stone. The double front doors are made from dark heavy wood bound with iron, with a life-size wolf's head door knockers in the center of each wind, in order to prevent mortals and non-Einherjar from trespassing. The hotel's front garden is completely enclosed by a 15-foot-tall limestone wall with no entryway. The courtyard area behind the wall has birch trees with leaves of gold grow. Wow! Nice place you have here, is this Valhalla? Naruto had to ask since it looks too small for a whole army to stay. No, this is just a front, through these doors will take us to Hotel Valhalla. Naruto watches as Gunilla grab hold of the wolf's head door knockers pushes. There Naruto watches as he looks inside the hotel to see just a fraction on how large it is. The foyer of Hotel Valhalla has to be the world's largest hunting lodge. A space twice as big as what the exterior would indicate, with an acre of hardwood floor covered with exotic animal skins. Against the right wall of the lobby, there is a fireplace the size of a bedroom. Over the mantel hangs the stuffed head of a wolf. In the far corner of the room stands an overturned boat's keel, which serves as the reception desk. Columns supporting the ceiling are made from rough-hewn tree trunks, and the ceiling itself is lined with spears for rafters. Polished shields gleam on the walls and the entire place seems to be illuminated from every direction. In the middle of the foyer, there is an announcement board displaying the activities for the day. A man with a warty face seared with ashes, an untamed beard that seems to have not been trimmed in decades and murderous bloodshot eyes under bushy eyebrows. He is wearing a doorman's uniform, a top hat, white gloves, and a dark green jacket with tails and the interlocking letter HV embroidered on the lapel. The burly man possesses a double-bladed axe that hangs at his side and smells like turpentine and burning meat. Hunding, the captain of the Valkyries, greets the doorman. Thane Gunilla. Hunding greets Gunilla in return. I see that you've brought an Einherjar to join Hotel Valhalla. Slightly frowning, not this one, he helped me with killing a ghoul. This causes Hunding to make a sour face when he heard ghoul. I want you to take the ghoul's body so we can study it and make bone steel weapons out of it. Very well. Hunding takes the dead ghoul's body and disappears with it. That's Hunding, the doorman and bellhop for Hotel Valhalla. He's been here since 749 CE. I have no idea how far back that is, but this place seems cool. Was that the only staff member? No, we need to see Helgi, he's the manager of the hotel, Gunilla said before they head over towards the reception desk. Standing at the reception desk is a man with a large bard that would take hours to cut, and his hair is like a buzzard that exploded on a windshield. He is dressed in a forest green pinstriped suit. Thane Gunilla, Helgi greets the captain of the Valkyries. Did you bring a new Einherjar? No, not this time. This is Naruto Uzumaki and he helped me in killing a ghoul. Ah, I see, then I thank you for help Thane Gunilla with killing the ghoul. Those things have been giving us problems for some time now. What are ghouls? I've fought 2 so far and I don't have any clues on what they really are. This is something that shouldn't be talked out in the open, said Helgi. come in the back for this is, Vanilla come along since you've been dealing with the ghouls as well. They head behind a pair of doors. Inside the room looks like a hut with a hearth burning in the middle as the smell of meat cooking fills the room. Hade sits next to the hearth and waves over for Naruto and Vanilla to sit on the other side. Ghouls. Hade strokes his beard as he thinks over his words. Ghouls have been around for so long no one really remembers when they first appeared, though Lord Odin believes they came from the south. But the south are the Egyptians, Vanilla says, for she knows that the Egyptians don't have any cannibals in their pantheon. Was it the magicians? Naruto has no idea who the Egyptians are, or the magicians. That is something else he'll just have to learn about when he gets the chance. What are the ghouls? They eat flesh, have tough skin, that strange thing that is used as a weapon. Well, ghouls are beings that one could call demigods. They are power if given enough time. You see, ghouls have been giving not just the Norse problems, but all pantheons. Though the Greeks don't have any problems from them, so the ghouls will just attack anyone. No, they mostly go after mortals because they are easy prey. The stronger ones will go after not just demigods, but gods if they are powerful enough, strong enough to challenge gods. I don't believe there are many that get that strong, correct? You'd be correct about that. Only a handful of ghouls have ever become that powerful. The only thing that can pierce a ghoul's skin is magical metals that the different pantheons use, like celestial bronze, imperial gold, Stygian iron, moonlight silver, bone steel, meteoric iron, and adamantine. Though bone steel that's been quenched in ghouls' blood makes the weapon more lethal to them, Vanilla chimes in since they've created a few weapons that can harm ghouls, even kill them. Right, anyways, ghouls are physical stronger than a normal mortal. If you were to take a regular knife to a ghoul, the knife would break with the ghoul most likely laughing at you. Though if they fall from great heights that can harm them and even kill them, like I said, great enough height, ghouls are able to smell the differences between mortals, demigods, and other ghouls because they have a great sense of smell. That would explain why that one that attacked me said I smell so good. Naruto rubs his chin as he remembers the ghoul that attacked him several months ago. Yes, ghouls can't help themselves when they smell divine blood. Hade can remember how Einherjar that had godly parents were brought in with injuries because caused by ghouls who couldn't control themselves. Ghouls can't eat regular food like we can. They can only eat mortals and demigods because their stomach can only digest our flesh, making them cannibalistic organisms. Naruto can see where this is going. Ghouls can't eat regular food like him and other people can. They're forced to eat people because they have to. He can see this is just part of their nature. In a way ghouls are humans' predator. In a way life found a way for there to be balance. Ghouls have an organ known as the kakuho that houses a kagun. This causes Naruto to stop thinking about ghouls' way of life. What's a kagun? A kagun is a ghoul's greatest weapon, for this functions as their weapon and claws. It is usually red as blood and flexible like the flow of water, but firm and sturdy. There are 4 types of ghouls, and each type depends on where their kagun is located on their bodies. An Ukaku kagun is spread out like feathers and is released from the shoulder area. It specializes in high-speed attacks. Most of the users seeming to have highly enhanced speed. The kagun is lightweight and can be used to deliver high-speed attacks against an adversary. The primary method of attack is crystallizing their kagun to deliver a high-speed torrent of spike-like projectiles. However, whilst crystallized they are much stiffer and cannot be used for short-range combat. At least one Ukaku type can generate powerful lightning-like bolts, a possible rare ability. White the kagun is suited both for short-distance and long-distance attacks. Short range is considered their weakness. They may use their kagun as a shield and several are capable of shaping them into sharp blades reminiscent of a kukaku to aid in close quarters. Many Ukaku types are able to increase the flexibility of their kagun for short-range combat, though this makes it ill-suited for their distinctive long-range attacks. Altogether Ukaku-type ghouls have a high chance of ending a battle quickly as releasing RC cells deplete stamina. Thus, Ukaku-type's users lack endurance and are at a disadvantage if the battle drags on for a long time. Ukaku-type users can use their speed and mobility to shoot down Bikaku-type users from afar. However, a Kukaku-type user can suppress an Ukaku-type user by successfully guarding against the Ukaku-type user's attacks, leaving them vulnerable to counterattacks and exhausting the Ukaku-type user in the long run. That's a lot to take in, and that's just one type. Naruto can feel a headache coming on from what he's about to learn. Hade chuckles a bit. Yes, there are 3 more, Though Okaku types have the most information about them, Hade can tell that Naruto isn't one to learn from a book. The next type, the Kukaku Kagun, which is released below the shoulder blade, due to its high density of RC cells, it is heavy and extremely robust, giving it the greatest sturdiness and making them very well suited for defense. Normally, they are generally shaped into armors or shields, but on the offense, they can be shaped like melee weapons such as drills, hammers, blades, and swords. Due to its high weight, a Kukaku's speed is inferior to all other RC types and the Kagun is difficult to wield. A Kukaku can fend off an Okaku onslaught using its guarding capabilities. However, a Rinkaku Kagun can deliver severe strikes against the slow Kukaku, breaking their Kagun and breaching their defenses. Naruto can nod to that as light attacks can be beaten by a strong defense. So far speed and defense, I think I can see where this is going, but I need to hear more about this. There are special cases of ghouls having different abilities with their Kagun, though they are rare because of how strong they are, said Ganilla, for she's seen a few that can do some crazy things. A Rinkaku Kagun has an appearance similar to scaled tentacles and is released at the back around the waist. A Rinkaku wielder has powerful regenerative abilities and some could even survive the most critical of damage. Its peculiar appearance and structure yield a superior striking power and they excel in brute strength. Some Rinkaku users are able to manipulate the shape of their Kagun, such as changing its usual tentacle form into swords or claws. This type's regenerative power is a result of the RC cells easily binding together. Their RC cells are similar to liquid, however, this means that the binding force among the RC cells are weak, therefore making the Kagun very soft and easy to break. But because their RC cells bind so easily, some Rinkaku can bind their multiple tentacle-like Kagun together to make a larger, stronger Kagun. So far the number of tentacles that Rinkaku users can create are from 1 to 8 tentacles. A Rinkaku Kagun can deliver severe strikes against the slow Kwokaku, penetrating the Kagun and breaching the Kukaku's defenses. However, a Rinkaku has serious problems fighting against the balanced Bikaku Kagun. A Bikaku has comprehensively high power, allowing them to fight against the brute force Rinkaku. And the Rinkaku Kagun's softness makes it comparatively easy for the Bikaku to cut the Kagun off. This disarms a Rinkaku no matter how much strength it may possess, leaving the Rinkaku at a disadvantage on the defensive. It has been shown that in some cases, a Bikaku attack can disable a Rinkaku's regeneration. So I was right. Naruto cheers because he'd figured out how the Kagun works. The blonde took a guess at how the ghoul's Kagun works. A Bikaku Kagun typically has a tail-like appearance and is released around his tailbone. It is good for medium-distance attacks and has decent offense, defense, and speed. Thus, they have no notable strengths or weaknesses like the Kagun based on other RC types, meaning the Kagun itself is treated as a surprise trump card. So far, the number of tails a Bikaku user can create are 1 to 14 tails. A Bikaku has better speed and durability against the brute force, breakable Rinkaku, allowing them to cut off the Rinkaku's Kagun. However, a Bikaku will be overwhelmed by the faster Okaku user and will lose against the Okaku's long-range attacks. Hade finally finishes explaining the 4 different types of ghouls out there. The Norse have been fighting ghouls over the centuries and have gathered a lot of information, but it wasn't until the last decade where the ghouls have become more active. That's a lot of information about the ghouls. I didn't know there would have been that. How long have the ghouls been around? Centuries, that's for sure. Hade wanted to laugh, though the ghouls have been for not just the Norse, but for the other pantheons. The manager of Hotel Valhalla looks at his clock that is hanging on the wall. Well, it's getting late. Why don't you stay for the night, Thane Ganilla? Why don't you show young Naruto here a room for the night? Very well, come, Naruto, let me show you our guests' rooms. Naruto follows the captain of the Valkyries with them both leaving the hut. So did you learn what you wanted to learn? Ganilla asked the blonde that is following her. Somewhat. Now I know that they are giving problems around the world, how much they don't attack the Greeks. That is one of the many questions we would like to ask them, for whatever reason that goes through their heads. That's one of the biggest questions, but enough about the ghouls. I said I was going to take you to the guest rooms, but I haven't eaten nothing for some time, and I believe you haven't either. Nodding to this, for the blonde hasn't eaten anything since he left his apartment. Then let's eat. Ganilla didn't give Naruto a chance to do anything before she grabs him and takes off down the many hallways. Feast Hall of the Slain. It felt like it took forever to arrive at the dining area. Naruto has to say it is a place that a sight of wonders. The hotel's dining areas is the size of a concert hall. With 100 doors circling the perimeter, tiers of long tables curved downwards in a bowl-like manner, until they reached the center of the hall, where the tree Larida grows. In the tree live immortal animals, each assigned to a particular task. Somewhere high up in the tree lives a stag named Eichthriner, whose horns spray out water that runs down the tree's branches and falls into a pond at its roots. Ganilla sits Naruto at one of the long tables. Again, before he could say anything, she wanders off. Sitting there, the blonde scratches the back of his head. What just happened? First time here. Naruto turns to see a young woman with green eyes and frizzy red hair. She is kind of short, but still taller than Naruto. You could say that. I don't understand why Ganilla rushed off like she did. Ah, that is because she is fulfilling her duty. Oh, my name is Mallory Audrey Keene. I'm the den mother of Floor 19. Daughter of Frigg. Now that Naruto is listening to her, he can tell that she has an accent. So how did you die? I didn't die. I came across Ganilla fighting a ghoul and I helped her out. Really? Huh, that's strange. Ghouls have becoming a problem of late. You have no idea. And what do you mean Ganilla is just fulfilling her duty? Ganilla is a Valkyrie and it is her job to bring you a meal. While you not be an Einherjar, it is still an honor serve someone who is brought to Valhalla, even if they're still alive. I like being alive, thank you very much. You said that it's an honor to serve those who are an Einherjar a meal. Why is that? Valkyries' jobs are to look for soldiers that will one day fight in Ragnarok, the twilight of the gods, Doomsday, Götterdämmerung. It is the end of the world basically. But I don't think you want to hear that. Wait, I told you my name, why haven't you told me yours? Oh, my name is Naruto Uzumaki. I'm Greek. Strange, Greeks and Norse usually don't get along. A grin comes across Mallory's face. No. She wouldn't have. Did Ganilla have a good time with you? Good time. At first Naruto didn't get what Mallory was talking about, but after a bit he understood what the Irish woman was talking about. No, you have a dirty mind, don't you? I died around the 70s, talk about all the free love. Mallory didn't get to say any more because Ganilla came back with a plate full of steaming food and a pint of mead. She places both items in front of Naruto. Eat up. If you were an Einherjar then it would have been your favorite food, but since you're still alive I went with the next best thing, a feast. And that's what it is. What Naruto was thinking he was going to get was a small meal and then go straight to bed, but no, what he was given was a feast, several different types of meat, beef for sure, pork, and what he thinks is sheep, different vegetables that's been hot cooked from the steam coming off of them, and the blonde can smell the honey in the mead. While Naruto would have preferred ramen over most food, he is not one to turn away free food. The blonde digs into the meat, which was pork that has been slowed cooked for most likely 2 days, just falls apart. Reaching over and drinks the mead with the honey adding to the flavor of the pork was heaven. This is so good. Shouting out in excitement, for this is some of the best food the blonde had in a long time. The last time Naruto had anything this good was when he was in Haru and Ikuni. Koyuki's cooks were really good. I take it you like the food? Ganilla really didn't need to ask since she'd seen countless Einherjar say the same thing when they taste the food of Valhalla. That's what to come of those that become Einherjar, fight, train, and die all day long to feast that very night with the best food one could ask for. You have no idea. While I never had something like this before, I can tell the spices are from my home. That's what it should taste like, spoke up Mallory. All the food here looks like something from Germany, but have the spices that came from our homes. It's to show while we are Norse our roots are what make us. That makes sense to Naruto. It makes the Einherjar think of home while they have a good meal, and nothing tastes better than thinking about home while eat something that reminds you of home. Eating that meal one parent would make to cheer themselves up after a long and hard day. Any gods of the hearth would love to do that for anyone that worship. After eating, Naruto was led through once more throughout Hotel Valhalla, all the different hallways leading to training rooms, places to relax, and rooms to rest for the night. While Naruto isn't an Einherjar, he won't have a normal room like they get, he'll get a guest room. Over the centuries Hotel Valhalla would let guests stay for some time before leaving and using what they learn from either the Einherjar or Valkyries before their death and are fully welcome to Hotel Valhalla. Well, this is your room, Naruto. The daughter of Thor waves over to one of the guest rooms that's on the first floor. I hoped you had a great time eating. Oh, that is an understatement for sure. The food was great. This place is awesome. If this is what the afterlife is, I can totally see myself staying here. Hearing upon this, Ganilla perks up. If you say that, I can maybe have it, so if you were to ever die I can come and bring you here. Naruto thought about this. He heard of the Pure Lands back in the elemental countries, how it was either peaceful for those that lived their lives to the fullest, or painful for those that cause harm onto others. There was never talk about endless feasts or the warriors of the dead would face off and try to stop the end of the world. He's kind of torn between these two places. Let me think about it, Ganilla-chan. I want to make sure I think over it before I give my final answer about this. While this saddens the captain of the Valkyries, she can see where Naruto is coming from this. He's Greek that was just asked to come to a different afterlife from a different pantheon. I can understand that just fine. Well, I'll see you in the morning then. Ganilla says her farewells before leaving Naruto in front of the guest room. Naruto opens said door and walks inside. The room looks just like how apartment back in Konoha. He walks over to the window and opens it up. He can smell the forest from his place. It was just like home. While he never truly liked his apartment, it had been his home for years that it kind of grew on him. The blonde walks over to the bed and lays down, the same lumpy bed and the smell of ramen. It's just like home. The red sun set over a battlefield with hundreds, maybe thousands of dead bodies, so many dead bodies that the ground isn't visible because there is just so much death. A man is standing on top of the dead. This man is wearing all white in the middle of all the death, long white hair, snow-white skin, blue eyes that would make the sky and ocean jealousy of how beautiful they are. Guts, called out the man, aren't you going to get up? Yeah, I'm just resting. Some of the bodies move and a large man climbs and stands up. He has short black hair with a scar running across the bridge of his nose. Unlike the man in white, Guts is wearing all black. While the man in white is slender, Guts is tall and bulky muscles. How could you fall asleep in such a place? Asked the man in white. Easy, when you grow up on the battlefield. What's our next move after this, Griffith? Helgi stands up. He felt it. The man walks over in his hut and moves the bookcase to slide it over. When he slid it over, it reveals a hidden door. Opening the hidden door to go inside to a room filled full of weapons, but Helgi doesn't look at any of those weapons, for they don't matter. What does matter is the sword in the back. Though calling it a sword doesn't do it justice, the sword's so too thick and heavy to be even called that. It's more of a lump of iron. A massive sword that is too big to be called a sword, that weighs easily 600 pounds. This massive thing is known as the Dragon Slayer, for it was made to slay dragons because it is big enough and heavy enough to go through dragons' thick hide and scales. This Zweihander is 6 feet 6 inches long and 12 wide, but what makes this sword special is that it can kill anything on this plane of existence and the next. It bathed in the blood of over 1,000 demons, where it can even kill gods. That's where the Norse came up with their bone steel weapons, by bathing them in the blood of their enemies to make their weapons stronger. But none of that matters right now. What does matter is the red and purple aura surrounding said sword. Helgi has been working at Hotel Valhalla for centuries, and this sword has been here longer than he has. That right there says something. During all his time here, the sword never once did this. There have been those that have tried to wield such a beast of a sword to only fail and hurt themselves. It was like it, the sword is calling out for its master. Why are you acting up now? Helgi asks out loud to no one really. The next morning came with Naruto already up and about. Ganilla was waiting for him at the door. Good morning, Naruto, greeted the captain of the Valkyries. Good morning to you too, Ganilla-chan. What are we doing today? Naruto had to ask because he has a feeling that he won't be staying here for long. Well, we'll have breakfast and then head over to Helgi to see if you should leave. It kinda saddens the Valkyrie, for she wishes for Naruto to stay a little longer. Maybe if he sees a little more of Hotel Valhalla he'll want to stay. Feast Hall of the Slain. Naruto decided to stay for a few days. During those days he learned more about the Norse, and how they fight. Since the Einherjar don't have to fear death, since they already died fighting and with a weapon in their hand. That's how you become an Einherjar, by dying during great acts with a weapon in their hand, shows they're willing to fight to the death. Takes full advantage of this by dying during train, since they can't age or truly die while they stay in Hotel Valhalla. At first that didn't sound like a good idea, but after he watched a few Einherjar die from being crushed by a few boulders, they learned to watch where they were going. Being eternal warriors waiting for the end of the world makes them train without a sense of fear that Naruto can understand and respect. It has been a week since Naruto first arrived at Hotel Valhalla with him and Ganilla head back to the feast hall of the slain to have breakfast. Once again Ganilla went and brought Naruto his breakfast. It was a hearty break indeed, bacon, eggs, sausages, ham, pancakes, and hash browns. He can say it filled him up and then some. Ah, I never ate so much for breakfast. Naruto says out loud, never. Ganilla asks since she knows that not everyone can have a wonderful life. Yeah, most of the time I have ramen for breakfast, but even then I miss it because I'm always running about, like planning my pranks that I pull. You pull pranks? A seriousness came into Ganilla's voice when she heard that. Yeah. And of course Naruto misses that. I used to pull prank at my old village. No one could figure out how I did most of them, but everyone knew it was me. Like this one time I printed the village's prized statues, my greatest achievement. You wouldn't be related to the god of mischief? Ganilla had to ask since there is a possibility that Naruto could have some Norse in him. Huh? A god of mischief? Grinning at the thought that he could be related to a god of mischief, not that I know of, but that's awesome. That could explain why I'm so great at pulling pranks. But before Ganilla could say anything a light shines and blinds everyone that is there. When the light died down there stand the Norns, standing at 9 feet tall. The 3 women are shrouded in white. Under their hoods, their faces are beautiful, but unnerving, blank white, even their eyes, with their skin being like sculpted snow. Trailing behind them is a sheet of fog like a bridal train. One of Greek and one of Norse, shall head to the west. The dead and war tricked by time. See God spawn faces war in death battle. A powerful corpse eater awaits for his pleasure in pain. White hair born from madness and hungry for flesh awaits for the fox. And just as fast as they came, they left. All the Einherjar sat there in silences because the Norns appeared and gave out a quest, but it said Greek and there aren't any Greek Einherjar there. Ganilla looks at Naruto for it most likely is talking about him, but it also said one Norse. That means someone has to go with him during this quest that is of Norse. Helgi who came to the hall says, alright everyone, there is nothing to see here. He then looks over to Naruto, Naruto, come with me, you too, Ganilla, this quest is most likely meant for you. They do as they're told and follows the manager of Hotel Valhalla. They walk past many of the hallways and corridors. During their walk so many things are running through Helgi's mind. This isn't just a chance that Naruto shows up and a quest is given out. It was as if fate wanted Naruto to come and take a quest. Though the manager of Hotel Valhalla has to wonder if Naruto went to the Greek camp, would he gone on a quest there as well? Thinking about all this is giving the old warrior a headache. Fate works in ways to either give people what they want, or fuck them over without any lube. They come to the armory. Most of the Einherjar and Valkyries carry their own weapons and don't have to worry about them, though we do have a few that like to be a little rough. Naruto, can I see your weapons? Seeing no harm in this, Naruto takes out his kunai and shuriken. He looks at the weapons. While they would be good in fights against mortals, they won't be going up against the like of mortals. You need weapons that will harm monsters and all the creatures that you'll be facing against in this quest. Helgi walks over and picks up a dagger. He looks at it before walking over to the blonde. Here, take this. Naruto takes the dagger. The blade looks like it was made out of bone with a red tint to it. What is this? Naruto remembers that one shinobi that used his very bones for weapons, but he never seen it since. That right there is bone steel, a strong metal that only we Norse know how to make, but that one right there is from the kill both you and Ganilla brought in a week ago. Wait, you mean that ghoul, right? That's correct. Helgi picks up a sword made from bone steel. Bone steel is bathed in the blood or monsters and creatures of the like. By doing so the weapon becomes very more deadly to those of the same blood. A sword made out of bone steel can be made to even slay a god if they somehow gains the god's blood. Some gods call this the world's bane because it can kill anything if made correctly. Naruto looks at the dagger in awe. The blonde has learned and even seen some really cool weapons during his time as a shinobi to understand and respect those weapons and the people who wield them. And now he is holding a dagger that could do the same one day. The quest didn't make much sense. What are we supposed to do? Ganilla asked since she's been around for 500 years. All quests have some type of goal, but this one didn't. It just said for one Greek and one Norse to head west. There is nothing west, but the Rome camp, Camp Jupiter. I don't know. Helgi didn't like it just as much as Ganilla, though many quests never really make sense till it was over when it truly made sense. This is more like the start of an epic journey that will be told for generations to come. Just follow your gut and trust your instincts. He looks over to Naruto, the both you, go forth and bring glory to your names. There wasn't much said after that as they both headed out. Ganilla lead Naruto back to Brooklyn. Both blondes didn't waste any time and head for the train station. What they missed when they left the hotel was a man standing behind a corner smiling with a sickly grin. The man brings up one of his fingers and snaps it with a sickly pop. He couldn't contain himself as laughter escapes from his lips. After waiting for a solid week his target finally comes out. Oh, joy.